really sorry, Buffalo fans, but I think Antonio Brown, Stefon Diggs, is a huge problem for the organization. Now, look, I really do think the Buffalo Bills are experiencing something that is going to absolutely ruin their chances of having a successful season. And we know, Buffalo fans, a successful season is beating the Bengals and or beating the Chiefs in the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. You have an MVP caliber quarterback in Josh Allen and a diva receiver in Stefon Diggs, and things are not great. I know, all of you Buffalo Bills fans are saying they made up, he's at practice, everything's cool, everything's brownie, but I would say this type of behavior is what's going to stop you guys from Week 16 performances when the games are close, everything's on the line. Stefon Diggs being a diva, it's going to ruin the complete momentum of the team in crunch time situations. Now, listen, guys, listen. I'm on your side. I want the Buffalo Bills to be successful. Well, I'm in the media, so of course I do. We all do. But I have to be honest with you guys and say that there's no other team that does this. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you ever see Travis Kelce yelling, absolutely screaming at Patrick Mahomes? Let's go over to Cincinnati. How many times have you ever seen Joe Burrow yelling at Jamar, or vice versa, Jamar screaming at Joe Burrow? If any player actually has the authority to scream at another one, it's Joe Burrow screaming at his offensive line, but you don't see it. You never will see it because Super Bowl and team chemistry is at the top of his list. Stefon Diggs, I'm sorry, showing the most selfish behavior that I've seen since Antonio Brown, guys. And I don't want to put this curse on y'all, but the Steelers had to deal with this as well. Only Antonio Brown yelling at Ben Roethlisberger, or even Antonio Brown yelling at players on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the exact same thing that Stefon Diggs is doing. You don't get to scream at your MVP caliber quarterback. Now let's talk a little bit deeper. I'll present the facts to you and you discuss amongst yourself if the recent events are concerning for the Buffalo Bills. But before we really dive into this content, please go ahead and give us a like, please subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Thank you. Now, the Buffalo Bills were once upon a time, and I believe still so, were that team that everyone knew had a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl. With the acquisition of Von Miller in free agency last year, it was a signed, sealed, delivered free agency add-on that said Von Miller is going to help you guys in the playoffs to get to the big dance. But of course, we all know, unfortunately, Von Miller did not make it throughout this season. And I don't blame Von Miller. Even at this point in time, even if he was healthy for the entire season, you can't bank on a 34-year-old pass rusher to be the catalyst of your entire team. Now let's get into the biggest of issues. The Buffalo Bills had a very impressive season last year. It seemed like a continuation of their previous season. Josh Allen was a powerhouse, throwing 35 touchdowns, had 14 interceptions, achieving the second highest QBR of his career. That doesn't include his over 700 yards, 700 yards of rushing, and 7 touchdowns on the ground, which is why he is currently the Madden 24 cover. And I love it. Unfortunately, despite all the efforts and only losing 3 regular season games last year in 2022, the Bills did not make it to the Super Bowl again. They had one of the most stacked teams in the entire NFL and made a significant emphasis on the defensive side during last year's NFL draft. Even with all this and more, they narrowly defeated the Miami Dolphins by 3 points, going against not the backup in Teddy Bridgewater, but the rookie third-string quarterback in Skylar Thompson. This was a pitiful game for the Buffalo Bills defense. Absolutely pathetic. Skylar Thompson was doing everything in his power to get the Miami Dolphins into the end zone. This game was all about heart for the Dolphins, and I think they played pretty awesome. And for the Buffalo Bills, I hear a lot of fans saying, "Oh, the Buffalo Bills weren't ready, dude. What are you talking about? The Buffalo Bills knew they were going to beat them, so it's okay." Well, that's kind of strange how you don't keep that energy next week for the Cincinnati Bengals because you got your butt smacked. Now, I'm going to say this. It's unfortunate that the first time the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills met in the regular season, it was a very, very emotional game. Not just for the Buffalo Bills, but for the entire country. Damar Hamlin's scary injury shocked the world. Him on the field, quote unquote, lifeless, was really hard to watch. I had a tough time watching it personally. So that was a clear emotional playoff game against the Cincinnati Bengals in that AFC divisional round. But at the end of the day, you were at home and it was in the snow. You see all those Buffalo Bills fans every single Sunday jumping off roofs onto tables and breaking them in the snow. I once saw a Buffalo Bills fan give birth to a baby in the snow and then hand that baby a Natty Light, and that baby crushed it. I actually saw that. That's real. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that the Buffalo Bills were at home and had all the momentum on their side to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, but unfortunately, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins went inside of Buffalo and bent them over and absolutely spanked the Buffalo Bills. And at this point in time, it's very important to note that there's always been this lingering shadow behind Josh Allen that he can't perform in the biggest of big games. And from start to finish, that was true. Stefon Diggs was getting double covered the entire game. The Cincinnati Bengals defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, pretty much said, hey, if we're going to lose, we're not going to lose by Stefon Diggs. But at some point in time, Stefon Diggs did not care at the simple fact that he was double covered. He wanted the ball. While Cincinnati does get snow, it's not anything like Buffalo. The Cincinnati Bengals were able to use the snowy weather to beat the Buffalo Bills, which was a huge factor in their victory. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals literally wore their white uniforms. That alone had to be a great advantage. However, the Buffalo Bills had other issues at the time, including 2 severe blizzards that the city of Buffalo was going through and the health issues of the team's owner. And like I said before, this is the team that took out one of their teammates in Damar Hamlin in the Week 17 heart-throbbing game. They meet back in the AFC divisional round and emotions are high for everyone. If you guys don't remember, this was also an emotional game for the Bengals because they believed that they were cheated with home field advantage through the AFC division. Stefon Diggs, at this point in time, he wasn't discussing things with Josh Allen. He wasn't complaining to Josh Allen, but he was actually screaming at a grown man. This is not okay. My guess was that Stefon Diggs was just frustrated with Josh Allen, that he wasn't getting the ball enough. And it's like, you're playing football, and you're not going to get the ball every time. And he was just annoyed to be down 17 points because the game was essentially over pretty much halftime. Okay, and then now I want to bring everything back down full circle, and this leads me to where we are today. Buffalo Bills wide receiver Stefon Diggs reported to the Buffalo Bills facility for pre-camp medical testing, but then didn't show up the very next day. This led Coach Sean McDermott expressing his concerns to the media, causing a bit of a stir within the NFL media. Now, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Is Stefon Diggs literally Antonio Brown? Is Stefon Diggs trying to burn the Buffalo Bills' chances of winning the Super Bowl? If things don't start smoothly in this 2023 season, I can guarantee you Stefon Diggs is going to let Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, and the city of Buffalo know for a fact that he wants to be traded. And we all know crybabies never win. Like, comment, subscribe.